Hey guys, and welcome back to Exo Medical Spa. Today we're going to go back to the basics. The biggest procedure or the most popular procedure we do in office, of course, is Botox. And for most medical spas and most aesthetic facilities, Botox is still the #1 treatment. We use it for prevention, we use it for wrinkles, we use it for even medical purposes such as migraines and TMJ. But when we come back, let's talk about some of the pitfalls of Botox and why it may not be working for you anymore, and how do we answer some of those questions. But first, let me take a little bit of my biohack and why I have so much energy and why this is the healthiest I've ever felt in my life. So if you're interested, click on the link in the description and find out why this has been my biohack for the past month and a half. Being healthy on the outside always starts with being healthy on the inside. So again, click the link in the description below and find out why Athletic Greens has been my biohack for the past month and a half. But let's talk about our most popular procedure, and almost everyone's most popular procedure is Botox. As we talked about Botox previously, what we're trying to do is reduce wrinkles. And the way we reduce wrinkles is we're reducing the animation that causes the wrinkles. Every time we frown, we cause this crease. Every time we lift our eyebrows, causes this crease. Every time we smile big, causes this crease. So we're trying to limit the emotion, trying to limit the animation. So we're trying to limit the emotions, such as these emotions, that causes the wrinkles. So that's what Botox actually does. Now, whether you're a complete novice at this, meaning you've never done it before, or whether you've done this for years and decades at a time, why does Botox not work? Or at some point, why does Botox stop working for you? If we think about males and females first, traditionally, males use a lot more units than females. Why is this? Males generally have a higher muscle mass. So in this case, let's think about our face. Botox is a medication that's dosed in units. We have to put in so many units to educationally guess how to limit the muscle movement. You guys can see here, I'm very strong in this area. If you take a female or you take a younger person, they may not be as strong here. So I would require a lot of units. I may require, if we're talking about Botox, anywhere from about 20 to even 35 units of Botox that I've actually put into this area, and I still move quite a bit. So muscle mass, in regards to how strong your muscles are, and also sex plays a role. We said males generally have a higher muscle mass, generally have stronger muscles, so they require more units. So that's the sex side of it. If you are a person who works out tremendously, you work out a lot. One of the concepts is the metabolism. Do I just metabolize out the medication a little bit quicker? There's always a potential in that as well. However, Botox isn't a systemic thing. Botox doesn't go into your bloodstream, metabolize it out through your liver, and then you pee it out. That's how most medications work. The higher metabolism you have, the quicker you metabolize out that medication. What I think really happens is, if you work out a lot, you generally have stronger muscles. If you have stronger muscles, you're just blowing through that Botox a little bit quicker. And if you have stronger muscles, you just require a higher dose. The next part of why Botox isn't working, or why Botox isn't working as well as when you were younger. As we age, can we build up tolerance to this? It's a medication. With any medication, there is always a potential to tolerance. If you've heard of opioid tolerance, if anyone takes pain medications for a long period of time, they have to keep increasing their dose. Well, by increasing their dose, they also get potentially addicted to it. But with medications, your body always has this mechanism where, do I need this medication? And if I'm getting this medication, do I build up tolerances to fight it back? Antibiotics is another one. If you continuously take antibiotics, the natural flora or the natural bacteria that occurs in your body, it starts messing with that. And then you also start killing your good bacteria. You start killing your good flora. And now you're building up a tolerance to this antibiotic, or this antibiotic is fighting, or the bacteria or the germs you're trying to kill are starting to fight back at this antibiotic. It's a battle, it's a war. So if you're constantly doing Botox and you're doing it inside the 3-month time frame, meaning you're doing every month, every 2 months, or now you've done it for years and decades at a time, your body can build up tolerance. How do we combat this? We don't necessarily know if it's tolerance in the beginning. So if I know Botox works in one area and all of a sudden it doesn't work in another area, likely the Botox is still working. And just a reminder, when I say Botox, I can mean any of the other drugs. Botox, Xeomin, Dysport, and Jeuveau. And there's one more coming out, Daxxify, I believe this year as well. But when I say Botox, just for simplicity. But if I know it works in 2 areas, but you treated a 3rd area and didn't work, likely it's not a tolerance. Likely you just needed more dosing in that area. You just need more units. So come in at 2 weeks and we'll pop in a little bit more. Now, if you come in at your 2-week follow-up and absolutely nothing happened in any of the areas that we treated, something's going on here. First step, what I do is I like to retreat it. Maybe it was that vial, maybe it was the dosing, or something just happened where the medication didn't kick in at that time. I'll redose it again, have you come back in 2 weeks, and more times than not, it was the issue was the vial didn't work, or it was just a bad vial and I'll FYI the manufacturer. But we redose it. If it doesn't work again, now what are we gonna do? Should we take a break from it? Did you actually build up a tolerance? Or what I usually do is let's switch medications. Let's switch you from Dysport to Botox, Botox to Dysport, or to Xeomin or Jeuveau, something like that. And again, most of the time, just the mere fact of switching the medication will make that Botox, Dysport, Xeomin now work. I believe there are other issues that can occur in regards to Botox not working anymore. But the last one that I encounter is it actually a muscle? Is it actually a Botox issue at this point? And this generally happens when we get up there in age, 50, 60, 70 years old, or we haven't taken care of our bodies and the collagen starts to decrease. One of the main places that occurs is around the eyes right here. When we smile, the muscle scrunches together and causes the wrinkle. So if we treat Botox, for the most part, if it's a muscle issue, the wrinkles will go away. But at a certain point, you'll be like, hey, I've been doing this for years and years. Why all of a sudden it hasn't worked anymore? Because as I've talked about so many times, collagen plays such a key role in how our skin looks. If we had thick, hardy skin here, think of it like a piece of cardboard. If we smile, it won't crunch together. But as we age, that thick cardboard piece of paper starts to thin to a tissue type of piece of paper. So if we have very thin skin in this area, as we smile, rather than this whole area staying stiff, when we smile, it scrunches together like a thin piece of paper. The other part of this is as collagen laxes, our skin falls forward and our skin falls down. And now I'm afraid to push my face down because I got a comment saying I look terrible every time I smush my face down, but it's the best way I can represent it to you guys. But as the skin falls, you can imagine if the skin is up and tight, when I smile, there's no compression here. There's no falling. But if my skin is falling down on my eye, look, without even me smiling, I already have laxity and creases here. But now if I smile, it compresses against that falling skin and it makes it worse. So Botox can give you a little bit of an eyebrow lift, but it won't fix the laxity piece. And this is where collagen comes in. This is where PDO threads comes in. Radius, Sculptra, and now our amazing all-natural filler of Easy Gel, because we have to improve the skin laxity. We have to improve the lifting that causes all these compression points. Falling brows. This lateral line right here, yes, it's caused by me frowning, but you can imagine if my forehead starts sliding down and it sits on this area, that laxity will not be fixed by Botox. So at some point you have to realize Botox will help. Botox only fixes muscles. How do we fix laxity now? That's where collagen and collagen stimulating products comes in. I hope that helps. We've talked about Botox and how we can limit it, but we rarely talk about why isn't Botox working anymore. Is it actually a muscle issue? And if it isn't a muscle issue, what other things are occurring and how do we address it? So we've talked about male versus females, muscle mass, how strong our muscles are, tolerance, and then finally, is it a muscle issue anymore? As we grow in age, it becomes more of a collagen and laxity issue. So again, if you like these videos, comment below, subscribe, do all that good jazzy stuff. I won't tell you guys what to do. But again, if you're looking for a biohack, healthy inside, healthy outside, click on the link in the description and find out why I have so much energy doing all these videos. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Bye.